This is a LEGO SpongeBob minifigure, and this is the city of Bikini Bottom. And today I'm going to be buying, building, and blabbing about every SpongeBob SquarePants LEGO set ever made, and even some that weren't.
Are you ready, kids?
Aye, aye, Captain!
Oh! Who lives in a pineapple under the sea?
So SpongeBob has been around for quite a long time and is one of the most popular TV shows ever made. So obviously LEGO made some IRL sets from it a long time ago. So long ago that I even got some as a kid. Now one of the first things you see in an episode of SpongeBob is a pineapple. So naturally I went to Walmart to go buy one. And now I had a delicious snack that I could munch on while I was building the first ever LEGO SpongeBob set, and that is SpongeBob's home. Now I don't fully understand how he lives in a pineapple, mainly because pineapples don't sink. Trust me, I tried drowning him. See, it's not sinking.
A few minutes later.
And this set comes with 4 minifigures of the first ever SpongeBob SquarePants, Patrick Star, Gary the Snail, and Squidward. Bro, what did they do to him? All right, back to the pineapple. I started clicking and clacking more bricks together, built SpongeBob's bed and the diving board that's above it so he could have that iconic alarm opening. And there's also room in here for some reason for a basketball court, so that SpongeBob could dunk 3-pointers on his friends. And what's even cooler, he could dunk on the haters right out of his bed. There's also a little drawing pad in here, which is a little interesting, but we'll worry about that later. The next thing I had to do was build a house for his neighbor Squidward. And this one is low-key weird. As I was building it, there was this giant piece that is made just for this set, and it looks just like Squidward's house. And the only feature for this build is this storage area for a catapult, which you could take out and then use to subsequently destroy the eyeballs in his house, which were never there to begin with. No wonder Squidward's always grumpy. SpongeBob and Patrick are always launching things at him while he's trying to get his beauty sleep.
Don't they know I'm busy spoiling myself?
Maybe that's why his face looks like that. But don't worry, a couple door smacks and we can turn Squidward into handsome Squidward. He's so beautiful. Now the last build I have to make is of a giant boulder.
It's not just a boulder, it's a rock.
And this is where Patrick Star lives. He has a very simple life with a chair, a TV, and an armrest with a special snack under it.
Oh boy, 3 a.m.
Now the very last thing from this set I have to build is SpongeBob's car, because SpongeBob is famous for being an excellent driver. And after hitting a few pedestrians and crashing into that subscribe button, he made it to his workplace, the Krusty Krab, where his boss, Mr. Krabs, was anxiously awaiting his favorite fry cook.
SpongeBob, get out here!
I'm ready.
Oh wait, we still gotta build the Krusty Krab. I started by building its sign that's a clamshell so that people know it's the Krusty Krab, and then got to work on the exterior, adding the doors, and even adding this custom printed door that Squidward looks very happy about. Then I got to work on the rest of the exterior, adding a chimney, a roof, and these flags, which mean something. I just don't know what. There's also this little trash can in the back where all the unsubscribers go. Next, we had to head inside because we need to hide away Mr. Krabs' most valuable asset.
Money, 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 money.
No.
My secret formula.
Yes. And then we have his desk to hide his secret formula. But now we need to build the actual cash register where his customers can give him money. So I built the little half boat where Squidward works, and then I built the famous window and grill that SpongeBob uses to cook Krabby Patties. It also has this launch feature so you can launch them out the window and to his hungry customers. Oh, and speaking of that, there's a line of hungry customers waiting outside the Krusty Krab, and it was getting super busy. But hey, there's one more character in this set. Plankton? He owns the Chum Bucket, the big rival restaurant from across the street. And he's also Mr. Krabs' arch nemesis. He even tries on a bi-weekly basis to steal the secret formula. But every time he tries, he's foiled. Usually because he does something dumb. Anyway, I have to build the Chum Bucket. And building the set was kind of fun, especially because it's really expensive. And after I finished almost everything, I include this giant fist on top of it, which gave me flashbacks to this episode where Plankton tries advertising and did this dance.
Have you seen this, seen this, seen this, seen my genius, genius, genius?
And then Patrick came along and made the sign better that said, Chum is fun.
Chum is fun.
Now inside the Chum Bucket, there were lots of gadgets, gizmos, and innators, all made to try and steal the Krabby Patty secret formula. Like this robot version of SpongeBob, which we'll see later. There's also a robot that delivers money, which Plankton hides inside, a burger robot that Plankton hides inside, You know, I'm starting to think that this hiding inside thing isn't working. What about a tank? There was also, most importantly, a holographic meatloaf projector, where Plankton and Karen made their evil plans to take down the Krusty Krab. Oh yeah, and here's my custom Karen, Plankton's computer wife. And after days of maniacal planning, he's ready to launch his evil plan. And it started by calling the local traffic police and telling them how SpongeBob's a terrible driver. So the driving authority came to the Krusty Krab, got a Krabby Patty, and then told SpongeBob he had to go to boating school, and he couldn't work for the Krusty Krab until he finished. SpongeBob was devastated, but was excited to see his favorite boating teacher, Mrs. Puff. But since he can't take his car to boating school, he needs to grab a bus. So I went ahead and built the Bikini Bottom Express set. It's this orange bus that has this fishy green bus driver, a bus stop, and a ticket machine with this really cool feature that dispenses a load of tickets that you can take directly to the bus and give to the bus driver. And Patrick looks like he also wants to get his boating license. So they both got on the bus and head off to boating school. Oh, the boating school's not done. So while I got to building the boating school, Mr. Krabs was getting desperate because now he didn't have a fry cook and Squidward honestly wasn't doing a great job. So he put up a wanted sign, but nobody wanted to work for him because he doesn't pay anything. So he escaped off to SpongeBob's house and broke in to see if there were any notes about how to do what SpongeBob does. And he found this awfully weird looking piece of wood. I think it's a pencil. Feeling desperate, he took it out and drew SpongeBob on the floor when all of a sudden, he made a new SpongeBob. I think we're gonna call him DoodleBob. Mr. Krabs took him to the Krusty Krab and actually making burgers even faster than SpongeBob. Mr. Krabs had money signs pop out of his eyes and the customers were really excited about this. While that was happening, I wrapped up building the boating school that was this old lighthouse with the school attached. And hey, there's Mrs. Puff. First, he had to do the written portion of the test inside, and he and Patrick were having a little too much fun in class.
Today's first lesson will be on turning.
24.
Hey, Patrick.
What?
I thought of something funnier than 24.
Let me hear it.
25.
That's enough!
And after doing the whole classroom portion, and SpongeBob barely passing, it's time for him to take his actual driving test. First, we have the starting line, which SpongeBob went through pretty easily, and then there was a speed bump, which SpongeBob thought meant speed up, so he stepped on the gas and ran into an anchor, which caught into Mrs. Puff and then slammed them directly into the wall. Yeah, it turns out walls and Mrs. Puff at 120 nautical miles an hour don't match up very well.
Oh, SpongeBob! Why?
So we need to drive her to the hospital, and lucky for us, there's an ambulance from the hospital set.
Wee-woo, wee-woo, wee-woo!
So I built up the hospital, and SpongeBob checked her in and then stole some bandages to help Mrs. Puff feel better by looking wounded, but he wasn't, because he's a sponge. Then Dr. Sturgeon came in and told them that she was going to be okay, she just needed SpongeBob to be away from her all the time, and she would get better. She also may have slipped the doctor a note saying that, but SpongeBob was already out the door.
Meanwhile,
at the Krusty Krab, business was booming, and DoodleBob was making the Krabby Patties even more high-end and fancy. And customers were paying more and more money, which made Mr. Krabs very happy. And what's better, DoodleBob didn't even ask to get paid. So Squidward thought it was a good time to ask for more money.
Mr. Krabs, can I get a raise?
No, Mr. Squidward. Back to work.
Oh.
In fact, the Krusty Krab was getting so fancy that Squilliam Fancyson himself showed up, and this just made Squidward angry. Then SpongeBob came in and tried to get his job back because now he figured he just had to ride his bicycle to work. But Mr. Krabs liked DoodleBob so much, he fired SpongeBob.
You're fired!
SpongeBob was really sad and had to turn in his hat and leave the Krusty Krab. Looks like Plankton's evil plan was working, but he knew that he had to get a new job, one that was exciting. So he called up his good squirrel friend, Sandy Cheeks. And it turns out she was working on a rocket to get to space, and she just fired her head engineer, Elon, so she needs some extra help to get there. And nobody's better to be an astronaut than SpongeBob. The rocket ride set is also a completely legit set that they made for some reason. So you're telling me they did this but not Sandy's house? Anyway, Patrick and SpongeBob both got in spacesuits and came along for the ride. There was a whole lot of space inside the rocket ship, including a tool shelf, control panels, and hey, wait a minute, is that Gru?
Next, we are going to steal
Hey, get him out of here. We only want one little yellow person in overalls. All right, I put this jelly card in, loaded up the fellas, and we're gonna have liftoff in
3 more subscribers! 2! 1!
Somebody subscribe!
Good, now that you did, I guess we're going to the moon. When they made it there, they did lots of cool experiments with this rover and a jellyfish field for SpongeBob and Patrick to go catch jellyfish. But they got bored pretty quickly and didn't like their job anymore, so they wanted to go home. So they loaded up some moon rocks and went back. So when they got back, they were taking off their spacesuits. Patrick and Sandy got theirs off just fine, but SpongeBob was having some serious issues. So he asked his friend Patrick to rip it off. SpongeBob? So that's not good. So Patrick took the corpses of SpongeBob to the only person that could actually help. That's right, the Flying Dutchman.
Now you're ready to sail for the horn. Roll and go. Our boots and our clothes, boys, are all in the corn. We're rollicking dandy, dandy, yo. Heave a horn!
Now the Dutchman was able to bring SpongeBob back to life, but in exchange for reviving him, he gets to keep his soul. So he made SpongeBob and Patrick both pirates, and their first job was to steal lost treasure. So the Flying Dutchman pulled up to this little island, and he dropped SpongeBob and Patrick off to go find the treasure. They got off, walked some planks, moved its little cannon out of the way, and then launched it. And then they found the treasure. They brought it to the Dutchman, but there was absolutely
Nothing.
other than this shell. So they went on sailing looking for more treasure and did a pirate howl. And after like 20 sets of this, the Dutchman really didn't like them anymore and decided to give them their souls back and kick them off their pirate ship. And SpongeBob was out of a job again. Now the only place left in town he could try and get a job was his third favorite place in the world, Glove World. So he got on the bus and got dropped off at Glove World, and there was already an employee at the gate who checks tickets and makes ice cream. And it looks like Patrick already had some. And they all got on the Ferris wheel together and went around and around and around and around and around and around and around until the Glove World guy got upset and kicked them out. Well, I guess SpongeBob's all out of jobs. And he's really sad about it. So he decided to go home and try and remodel his house to make himself feel better. And this one's going to be much nicer looking. And it has his boy Gary, but this time Gary's actually pink. And he has his own bowl. It also has some outdoor accessories like a reef blower, a grill so he can reminisce about working at the Krusty Krab, and his boatmobile that he's not legally allowed to drive. Legally, that is. But he figured he could avoid the law a little and decided to start delivering pizzas.
The Krusty Krab pizza is the pizza absolutively.
And the first person he got to drop a pizza off to was Squidward, who was busy sunbathing out in this chair that came with the pineapple house. This is also the first not cursed Lego Squidward. The inside was pretty much the same interior as the first one, but this time he has his famous chair with the fish behind it. And it even has his TV.
Breaking news!
Attention! Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy have died! Who is going to protect Bikini Bottom now? So SpongeBob and Patrick both looked at each other and decided that it should be them. So the boys got together and spent all their remaining money on this superhero boatmobile. It has these little squid launchers, a special telephone, and SpongeBob and Patrick even got these special superhero suits. And oh no, it looks like someone's drowning in the river. SpongeBob and Patrick were off to the rescue. Wait, guys, why are you going to save someone from a river? You live underwater. Oh.
Patrick, we saved the city!
So Patrick gave up and went home to his rock. But SpongeBob was still figuring out how he was gonna feed Gary. And at the same time, Mr. Krabs had never been more successful. So he decided, like all other restaurants, to make another Krusty Krab.
First of all, congratulations, Mr. Krabs.
Hello. I like money.
What inspired you to build a second Krusty Krab right next door to the original?
Money.
And I gotta build it. His biggest issue is he only had one DoodleBob, and he needs another one to work at the new Krusty Krab. And Plankton saw this, so he crafted together the ultimate robot SpongeBob in the Chum Bucket and sent him over to the Krusty Krab. The robot came over and asked Mr. K to work for him for free. So he took him in and had absolutely zero reservations about it. And Plankton was also working on one last giant invention to destroy the Krusty Krab once and for all. While that was going on, SpongeBob was in his house feeling down about not having work that fulfilled him. And even though Mr. Krabs was doing well, he still missed SpongeBob.
This kitchen's not the same without you.
So this SpongeBob set I actually got when I was a little kid, and it's the Bikini Bottom party. Thanks, Grandma. And this one got a downgrade on SpongeBob's house, an update on Squidward's and Patrick's. Nope, wait, it's still just a rock. But it did have a new SpongeBob, Patrick, Squidward, and Mrs. Puff minifigures. And Squidward's house had all his favorite things, like his clarinet, his dumb art, and his clam cage.
I can't seem to get happy.
And all SpongeBob's friends came together to help cheer him up, and he was so happy. They had a drink stand, a DJ, and even a merry-go-round. And while he was having a good time, Mr. Krabs was raking it in. But Sheldon J. Plankton was making his final touches on the ultimate Krusty Krab destroyer, Giant SpongeBob. And he has the weirdest play feature I've ever seen. It has 2 alternate face expressions, and you could go inside and control his mind with Plankton, but this is Plankton without the sticker print.
What is that?
And you can put him inside to control the eyes, the mouth that spits out jellyfish. But most importantly, this beast even has the brand new
1, 2, buckle my shoe. 3, 4, buckle some more.
So Plankton went to work using his machinery to activate the robot he planted in the second Krusty Krab, as well as DoodleBob, to begin his master plan. He approached the Krusty Krab with both of them at his side, and then used Giant SpongeBob to completely destroy the second Krusty Krab. Well, Krabs, it looks like you'll have to hand over the secret formula, or else... Mr. Krabs felt completely betrayed by DoodleBob, and realized at that moment he really needed SpongeBob. Mr. Krabs went inside to go get the secret formula. He realized it was over. But SpongeBob felt a great disturbance in the force, as if his favorite burger in the world was all of a sudden gonna get destroyed. So he left the party his friends threw him and got in the car to head there. He saw what was happening with the big SpongeBob and the Krusty Krab, and then remembered that scene from Captain America Civil War. And with some spare shoelaces and chains, he drove around the big SpongeBob to try and trip him.
You can't do the time, don't do the crime. Okay, time's up.
And the Krusty Krab was saved, and SpongeBob was back at work, and everyone was happy, except for Squidward, because he's never happy. But there's still one more thing we have to do. Thank you to Brick Ratty OP for supplying me with some of the minifigures, and Danny Bob for helping with the sets. If you want to watch more SpongeBob videos, check out this one right here on my second channel, or watch this one where I unbox all the sets ever made. Trust me, you don't want to miss them. With that said, God bless and stay awesome.